Battle Boy Destroy Troy, Chapter 5. There was a great feast in the banquet hall that night. Warriors raised their swords in triumph as the king and queen took their place at the grand table, laden with pheasants, ducks, breads, cakes, and fine wines. A huge pig on a spit sizzled over the fire. It was the feast of all feasts. Napoleon sat next to the king. Priam was clothed in a rich tunic decked with rubies. "This young man saved our city today," he announced. "I hereby make him a Prince of Troy. Hail Palachus!" Everyone cheered the new prince, and the celebrations began. Napoleon tucked into it the succulent pork and delicious breads. Between mouthfuls he met princes, chiefs and warriors, princesses and priests. Skin could only just keep up collecting all the DNA, data banks reaching maximum capacity. Halfway through the evening, Napoleon realized that a dark-eyed man was glaring at him. "That man standing next to the pillar," said Napoleon to Skin. "He keeps staring at me." "That is Antenor," said Skin. "He is chief advisor to King Priam, but he is a traitor. He plans to steal the king's crown with help from the Greeks. That is why he is staring at you. You are thwarting his plans." Napoleon saw Antenor whispering to a guard. Then the two of them scowled in his direction. "I think they're up to no good, Skin," he said. "I am monitoring their movements, BB," said Skin. "I will alert you to danger." "Palachus," said a soft voice behind Napoleon. He turned. It was King Priam's youngest daughter, Polyxena. "Thank you for saving our city," she said. Napoleon smiled. "No problem, Princess," he said, and she smiled too. But then her face changed. "I fear, though, that we are doomed. My sister says Troy will be destroyed and we will perish. No one believes her, but I feel she might be right." She stared at him, waiting for him to respond. But as Napoleon looked into her sad eyes, he could not reply. How could he tell her what he knew? The hours of eating and drinking and cheering finally ended. The king's servant showed Napoleon to a room in the castle, and Napoleon fell into an uneasy sleep, filled with cries and burning cities. He woke with a start. "Skin, are you awake?" he said, sitting up. "Affirmative," said Skin. "Cerebral activity indicates you have a question." "What happens to the Trojans?" "The war will end," said Skin. "By this time tomorrow night, the city of Troy will be burning." "Do many of the Trojans survive?" "Very few. Those who do will become slaves." "And Polyxena?" said Napoleon, even though he wasn't sure he wanted to know the answer. "You cannot change what has already happened, BB," said Skin. "I know," said Napoleon. He lay back on the bed. Sometimes he couldn't quite believe that any of this was really happening. Maybe Operation Battlebook was just one really long dream. Tomorrow he'd wake up and everything would be okay. He rolled over and closed his eyes. He had just drifted off to sleep when he felt a warning buzz from Skin. Moments later, a thought message followed. "Intruder, large male at the window. He has a dagger. Prepare to respond with force." Napoleon silently shifted sideways across the bed, pulling his pillow into the position where he had been lying. "Do we laser or taser him?" Napoleon asked. "Neither," Skin replied. "But he's very close." Napoleon could see the intruder's shadow through the silk curtains hanging around his bed. He rubbed his eyelids, activating Skin's night eyes. Now he could see the man clearly. It was the guard he had seen talking to Antenor. The man was only meters away, his dagger ready to strike. "Recommend use of hologram," Skin said. "Monster 4981 should scare him into retreat. Downloading now." Napoleon rubbed his hands together to activate the HH5.2 LCD screen. "Downloading." A hand was reaching around the bed curtains and quietly drawing them back. Napoleon saw the glint of a dagger in the moonlight. He waited until it was about to come stabbing down, then opened his palms and pulled them apart. A hideous creature leaped from his hands. It had 4 heads, each with snarling mouths, full of razor-sharp teeth. The heads roared and shook as the creature flew up at the intruder. The guard screamed, dropped his dagger, and ran. As he reached the window, Napoleon zapped him with the taser. The guard leapt straight out of the window. Napoleon heard a painful thud on the ground below, and then footsteps limping off into the night. "Intruder removed," Skin said. "Well executed, BB." A moment later, Napoleon heard the low hum that told him Skin had slipped into sleep mode. The danger was over, for now. Soon he was asleep too, dreaming of how to save Polyxena.